The best moments of the meeting were those where we can exchange ideas and have time to discuss the practices, the experiences, the learning points with other partners, and also those moments where I can discuss ideas that don't belong to this project but will help you with future projects. So something I would like to change is that as we have a flexible schedule, I would like to have more time to discuss the interventions, to hear ideas from other schools, to hear how they solve their problems, so we get more ideas when we go back to Spain. And what we are going to implement is to show all our teachers and staff all the results we got from the Spanish study. And also I'm going to implement some management things I saw here, like the reports from quality, the reports from finances, that I think they're great, they're simple, so my partners from other projects will use it.
One highly enjoyable moment to be in Budapest for just a conference to start after having sort of been involved in the project from writing it to implementation. To see all the work in another country was tremendous. Please tell us something you would change. I'm not sure I'd change anything. I think it's all sort of gone to plan really, and we always talk about sort of was the order right, the timings, but actually it was pretty perfect. So I think it's spot on course really. And finally. Something you will implement as a result of your experience. Well, of course, from the visits I did to schools, I write those up and they'll go on the website and so on. But in terms of implementation, I think what I'd like to do is to do something else around Roma, and maybe to try and put a project together, because to come to the school we're in, it's a privilege really to be here, but it shows all the challenges that such deprived groups face, and it would be good to do something about that. Okay?
Well, the highly enjoyable moment was that we had the whole international company here in Hungary. Actually, I enjoyed each moment, but mostly the ones when we visited the institution, and especially Szersa, we can say that the Roma institution, because I think it's pretty different in several point of views from everybody's experience, but there are similarities. So and I enjoyed the social parts, of course, and I really enjoyed that it's a very professional company, and it's a very smooth cooperation. And I enjoy it very much because I feel that everybody is in its place. What I would change in the future, I would go further in exchange, because we are in the implementation phase now, and my idea is to exchange experience in different kind of methodologies, which we all have some specialty, and I think we are on that level where we can exchange those as well. For example, we have mediation, we have a new method how to deal with problems in the teaching practice, and we can share, and I'm sure the other institutions has other different interesting practices. Implement as a result, well, we will go on. This is the implementation phase, and we've got our action plan, so we know the next steps. So it's pretty clear. I will implement everything regarding the project.
The highly enjoyable moment of this visit was to see all the partners again, to be in this beautiful town, and to get the results from the research we made in Zlínský kraj. So, yeah, I enjoy everything. So thank you, the organizers, for the good job they have done. I wouldn't change anything. Everything was perfect, so thank you once again. And what I will implement, I've learned one important thing, that for intervention, we don't need to invent anything new. We can use what already exists and make the most of it. So this is the most important learning point from this conference. Thanks.
So the first question, my high enjoyable moment of my participation for me is to sharing experiences with other colleagues, not just about tools but also about differences in educational system. And so I can see how it's going in other states, what can we do differently, and what we may be doing better. The second question, some changes in the future. I don't know, I have no ideas for changing about conferences, but in my work I also changed something about these people. So the third question, the main point for me is that for many of changes don't need any extra money, and we already have many support systems in our country, and we just needed to use them more effectively, and I think the most simple way is the best.
Conference was very interesting for me. We had presentation and discussion of Hungarian vocational education systems, possible interventions, next steps, action plan. One high enjoyable moment is diversity of risk factors in different schools in different countries. Practical example in educational center teacher, interview with teachers, students, or learning here. And something I would change for the future. I have any problems with organizations conference. And I will implement as a result of my experience are more contacts and interview with young people face to face, and organizations interventions, workshops for teachers in the Czech Republic in Zlínský kraj.
The enjoyable moment was the visit to the Roma school. Very encouraging to see the assistance provided by the staff here to the students here at the school, and to see the interventions that are in place to support them and to learn about how they actually progress after they finish at the school. In terms of something to change for the future, again, like every event associated with the Safe Arrival project, it's extremely difficult to find something that you change because everything is extremely well organised, and a huge amount of praise you go to Eva, Evie and Naomi for the work they've done in preparing for this conference and the way they've welcomed us to Budapest and have organised all the events. In terms of what to implement as a result of my experience, I will be looking at, I suppose, disseminating the information on interventions at GTI to staff members at GTI, and I suppose the eventual aim will be to disseminate this across the whole Galway Roscommon Education Training Board, and this includes 60 different centres, so there's a wide-reaching effect of this project when the project finishes.
Hi, one of the most enjoyable moments, I suppose, of the whole conference has been this morning's visit to the Roma school. Just looking at the range of the programmes that are on offer here to the young people, and to look at the fact, I suppose, that the relationship that exists between the teachers and the students and the genuine sort of caring atmosphere here within the school is really fabulous to see. Also, I thought the results of the model from the preliminary data that had been gathered, that was very interesting, obviously, for us to see that of all the factors that we had identified and the ones that actually were causing issues for our learners. So I suppose one of the positive things that came out of it for us was that it was reassuring to know that we have interventions in place and that those interventions do seem to be working. But what is clear is that it has indicated to us that we certainly have a job to do and that we have a ways to go before we're confident that we are providing the types of supports that our students require. Changing the conference, I couldn't actually really come up with anything there that I would change. I think that absolutely great praise has to be given, an acknowledgement of the work that Eva and Evie and Naomi have done on the organisation of this conference, and it's been truly a wonderful, wonderful success. So a huge thanks to the team here in Hungary for creating such a wonderful itinerary, and everything worked like clockwork. Some of the things that we will implement really immediately, I think, on our return is that our new intake currently will be interviewed next week, and so we have a very clear picture now in relation to what are the next steps. So our new intake will be analysing that data at a very early stage. So come the end of September, we will be hoping to have our interventions in place mid to late October, and so really try to address any potential problems or any potential difficulties that students may be having using the tool, and that those interventions can then be put in place as early as is possible, and then be monitored carefully to analyse the completion rates and what effects that our interventions have on continuation and completion in our programmes. Thank you very much.
Well, for me personally, one really memorable moment from this entire trip has been the visit to the schools. I have to say that meant so much to me, because this is where the work is really at. It's where we see students in action. Particularly the second school, I was impressed by the small numbers in the class and how that can impact on individual student learning. And in terms of this project, I would be aware of how that would be important in our own school, where we would have some students in big class groups, but who may have a small voice and who may need that extra support and intervention. Would I change anything about this trip? Absolutely none, and no changes, because I have to seriously commend Evie and Eva on their organisational skills. Their commitment to the time management of this project has just been exemplary. I've been impressed with their interest and their collegiality, and their making us feel so welcome in terms of our learning and how we can implement this learning in our own centres and schools when we return back to our own countries. What I hope to implement in my own work is, particularly with weaker students or at-risk students, would be to embrace a more pivotal role of my work as a support worker and as a counsellor, being more attentive to the needs of potentially weaker students, but students who are at risk of maybe dropping out, forming deeper relationships with colleagues, with management, how we can source this information and how we can get to these learners as quickly as possible at the beginning of the year in order to retain them if this is their one and only shot at PLC education. Thank you.
Okay. The first, I want to mark two enjoyable moments. The first one were the moment in where we made sure that the work we have done is well done, and Chris told us it was our good work. So it is good for us, no? Of course. And the second moment probably is the exchanging of experience. So we can the possibility to look deeply at the situation in the different countries. We were in contact with another school, of another countries. So with his own problems, so it was a very good experience. It empowered us. No? Okay, what I will change in the future? Okay, how the question is the tricky question is how can we gain the trust of our students in risk? No, this is probably the question, in which this question beats me in my head, in my mind. No, it's so as a result of this, it has been very very useful to ask for. In another schools, how they used to do for gain this trust. No? Okay. And what will I implement? First of all, we are expecting the result of the questionnaire in September, so it will be an interesting thing to make sure that the graph is with the Poisson form, with the Poisson shape, and of course, as a result of that, start to have closer contact with students in risk. So that's all. Thank you very much for.
The most enjoyable moment of the course, the best part is to meet other people from other countries, to find out about things, find out how they work with students, and to meet people who are working with young people. That's the best thing. I wouldn't, in terms of the change for the future, is we need to make sure that more people don't drop out, so it's the best ways of stopping them dropping out, and so this has been very useful to identify and to think through some of the reasons. From this, after this session, we need to have the interventions with the students from the Samuel College, and to ensure that we work together, us with the college, to reduce the dropout. But it's the type of interventions, with the resources we have, how we can work most effectively.
The enjoyable bit for me about the whole conference was actually getting here and going to have a look at some different institutions. Things I would change is probably the timing of the conference next time. I think I'll have a look at that in a bit more detail just to make sure that that everything's covered, and I think the timings of some of the days were a little bit sketchy this time, so that will be changed for next time. And things I'll implement from now on is, we've talked a lot about different interventions and the developments of the tools and how each country found it. So for me, it's now taking all of those shared learning points back. We will create our model with the Sandwell College, and then we'll look at what interventions we can put in place just exactly the same as all the other partners. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next one already.
Okay, so about this conference, a couple of things that I was really impressed with during these couple of days is the cooperation and knowledge transfer such an event could actually bring. I think it's highly beneficial for all the participants in every country to be able to share our experience in this field, and I'm pretty sure that we can work on it and benefit from it in our everyday work later on as well. I wouldn't really change anything about this the project or the structure of these conferences. Maybe a little bit about the schedule. I think we can work more on the day and later have a bit more social activities. But I think as a whole, it was a great event and very useful for us in our work as well. Something that I would definitely implement in the future is actually the empowerment of my colleagues, because I can see the benefit of exchanging ideas and empowering each other. That implementing that can actually bring a lot of really good results, both for colleagues and ultimately for students as well, so that they will stay in school a bit longer. Thank you.